And now the last one. To me, the most important one, because the only one that contains the seal of God. 8 to 11, remember the Sabbath day and to keep it holy. 6 days thou shalt labor and do all thy work. But the 7th day is the Sabbath day of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt do no work. Okay? Thou shalt not do any work. Thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is in the gate. For in 6 days God created the heavens, the earth, the sea, and all that in them is. He rested on the 7th day, wherefore God blessed the 7th day, blessed the Sabbath, and hallowed it. Okay. Now the seal is in verse is in verse 10. But the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. That's his title and his name. And then when you go to verse 11 is his dominion, heaven, earth, and the sea, and all that in them is. That is the seal of God. Brothers and sisters, like we said in verse 3, thou shalt have no other gods before me. So if you're not going to have any other gods before God, meaning, like we said, you should not have any other commandments before God, before God's commandment. God's commandment reigns supreme because he is the God that delivers you and sustains you. So the 4th commandment, which is the only commandment that says remember and contains the seal of God, how is it pretty much the entirety of the Christian nation forgets? They keep all the other 10 commandments. So they keep the first one, they keep the second one, they keep the third one, they skip the 4th one, they keep the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. But it's the 4th one, for some reason, the only one that says remember is the only one they don't want to keep, when it is the seal of God. It has the seal of God in it. In verses, as we said, in verses 10 and in verses 11. In verse 10 you have his name and his title, Lord thy God, and in verse 11 you have his dominion, the earth, the sea, the heaven, the earth, and the sea, and all that in them is. So brothers and sisters, if you're keeping the commandments, you need to keep all of them. James says if you mistake in one commandment, you mistake in all of them, you error in all of them. So the 4th commandment is the commandment of God, which we are meant to keep before all other commandments, because God says thou shalt have no other gods before me. So brothers and sisters, this is a matter of life and death. It is a matter of life and death, salvation and damnation. Choose ye this day whom you will serve.